Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of Is It Worth It? The series where I share my review and my opinion on different video games that I've experienced. Today's video is about a small game named HOA. HOA is a relaxing puzzle platforming game developed by an indie studio called the Skrollcat studio as their debut game in the gaming industry. The game was published by PM Studios and Zhongdian Boya technology. The game can be found in all digital stores, but there's a limited amount of physical releases that can be acquired. The story of the game follows a tiny fairy named HOA. We know nothing about her other than the fact that she was floating on a leaf on top of the sea. HOA suffered from memory loss and she cannot recall anything. Her leaf brought her to an island where the inhabitants seemed to recognize her and reference how tiny she was when they first saw her. The NPCs of the game tells HOA that she should visit a certain individual who will be glad to see her, that she is safe and sound. With the hope that HOA will learn about her past, she goes into the forest to find out a stranger who apparently knows a lot about her. To sum up the tale, each time HOA finds a certain character who claims that they know her, they pinpoint her to a different location in order for another familiar face to see her. Each time HOA interacts with them, she gets to learn more about herself, her past, and gain new abilities. The game, similar to other indies such as Unbound, Worlds Apart, and Hollow Knight, shares little spoken dialogue with the player, and the majority of the NPCs will point the location the player has to go or a small story on how they used to involve with the character in the past. In other words, it's another one of those wordless games. The main story, however, can be mainly seen at the end when the player finishes the story. HOA is a puzzle platform adventure that puts the player in the shoes of HOA. HOA is a tiny fairy who has to venture around the land in order to reach her goal. Through her adventure, she's capable of learning new abilities to keep the game simple, fresh, and more interesting. The game cleverly adds new fairy abilities to HOA that are accompanied with great level design in order to feel more useful in a way. For example, the first level allows the player to move around and see plants come to life as the hero's aura approaches them. At the same time, it allows nearby friendly NPCs to help her reach higher grounds by allowing her to use them in order to jump off of them. The second level combines all of this, but also adds NPCs who can be used as bouncy pads. Furthermore, when double jump becomes available, the same levels become more open so the player can explore, and the more they proceed, the more abilities they get. The gameplay is simple and can be enjoyed by everyone despite their gaming experience. The players move around a 2D linear world in order to reach the ending of a given chapter. In this case, the player will have to open the map, pinpoint the locations of the butterflies and the key items required for the awakening of a certain NPC. There is no way for HOA to die, and thus the player can never get the game over screen. The key points are necessary to awaken the NPC of a certain level, and the butterflies have to be collected in order for the NPC to teach HOA a new trick. The level design is very well thought out, as the player can easily move towards the location of the level that the player has to visit. The further the player proceeds, the better the level design, as the levels open more for the player to explore. Each location has its own identity and NPC variety. For example, the first level is an open green hill with plenty of bees, flowers, and beetles. The second level takes place on trees where there's more caterpillars, and other levels go underneath the water with more underwater life. All the levels cleverly combine their inhabitants for a beautiful visual and fun experience in terms of gameplay. It only takes one glance for someone to see that the game was heavily inspired by the art of the legendary animator Hayao Miyazaki and his works that came out from the Ghibli studio. A great reference can be seen from the movie Ponyo and the game's underwater level. Ponyo's little sister looks exactly like the player's fairy, HOA, with the exception of the triangular hoodie. Color-wise, they 100% match. The same can be seen with plenty of the NPCs and other Ghibli properties. In simple terms, the hand-drawn animation found in the game is top tier. Last but not least, the music of the game is very calm and relaxing. It suits the game's atmosphere 100% wherever the characters may be, whether this is underwater or up on trees or even inside a forgotten cave. Sound effects coming out from the game's interactable items also exist, which is again something that enhances the magical experience of the game. The studio really captured the essence of the world with both visuals and audio representations. Overall, this is a gorgeous game. The sceneries created are very beautiful with the amazing platforming locations and a creative mind thought. HOA is a very interesting character with a unique look and a mysterious part, as apparently something big occurred to her in this land which she cannot recall. The music escorting the game is very relaxing and sets the moods in every step of the game. The buttons respond in time when the button is smashed, and the puzzles are very easy and not very complicated. I would argue that the PS5 upgrade is not totally used, and the only time it feels like a PS5 game is when hovering, but then again, the PS5 version does not come with any additional cost than the PS4 one. The story of the game is really weird with a lot of mystery behind, however, it all comes clear at the end. The game's enemy variety is not enough, but the point of the game was never its enemies, not to mention they cannot harm the player. The length of the game is quite short, which is the main issue of the game. In some cases, a short length game is not a bad game. This can be seen from Little Nightmares and Unravel, but in this case, a little more wouldn't be bad. For reference, the game can be completed in 2 hours, and that includes getting the Platinum Trophy. The game is usually around 15 to 20 euros, however, it is usually on sales in each platform, which means that if 20 euros for a 2-hour game is not your time or worth it, the sales will eventually include a price tag which might be more suitable for your taste. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. For more information, please check out my website, links below. Take care, and I'll see you all in the next one. See ya!